Okay, we may have something back. Hopefully, maybe. This is the reason I hate OBS. Yes, we seem to be coming through far too loud now. So let me just fix that. There we go. Okay, we should have audio coming through nice and loud for everyone to, well, say enjoy, but I'm going to say that kind of loosely. So hopefully we are up and running. Let me know if it's all good. It's back and I can hear you. Yes! We're back, we're sorted. This is why I hate OBS and why I'm trying to use Works A10 Mini for all of this to do everything outside of the computer, but it still likes to fail me. No idea what happened there. OBS just decided it had no sound. But I hope you're doing all doing really, really well. How's everybody's week's been? Let me know what you've been up to in the comments. You know how the thing goes. You got to interact, otherwise I don't know anybody's there, and I don't know I'm talking to myself in complete silence. So, as I was trying to say 5 or 10 minutes ago, how long it's been now, we have a bit of a different episode today. Finally, my Smegazines arrived. This is issue 1 to 9. I spent far too much money on these. So we've got issue 1 to 9 of the Smegazines to unbox and have a quick look at tonight. I've had a quick peek inside. I did open the end, make sure I had all 9 for tonight. Really excited to have a look at these. I've been kind of on a deep dive with some of the Smegazines lately. I've been trying to put together some Smegazine main video content, not just live streams. I don't want to show any of that just yet. I'm trying to get permission to be able to show those properly. But I'm really into the Smegazines right now. But I've been using, if you go onto Internet Archive, you can find the Smegazines that somebody put onto Internet Archive ages ago. There's some really low quality PDFs and some pretty good, they're like Photoshop files, but they open, if you use the free thing, GIMP, they'll open. And they're pretty good. They're pretty high res, but I still had to, for making stuff for the channel, upscale those and try and get them a bit sharper. Hopefully we're going to see how sharp and how good looking the magazines should have been all along. So how are you guys doing? I don't seem to be getting comments through. I'm not sure if you guys are commenting or not. Let me know if you are. I think it's maybe just not updated and got a bit confused with the connection going off and back on. So, as I say, we're going to do some unboxing in a moment. Got another camera for that. Things that have been going on in the world of Red Dwarf Nerd. Not a lot, just the usual sort of work life routine. But I have been working on, some of you might have seen I did a little snippet, a little GIF. I never know how you say it and I never really care. I did a little GIF of some green screen work I've been trying to do for the channel. I've always avoided doing green screen. It seems the most obvious thing to do when you're doing like a sci-fi channel. Stick up a green screen and do some wacky stuff. But I really wanted to establish the channel without that first and just be sort of chatting to the camera normally in a kind of normal set like this. The green screen isn't for live streams. It's for normal videos. But I'm at the point now where I wanted to try it. So I'm working on a video that's it's a theory I tried to talk about last week, but I didn't have a good audio last week either. It's been bane of my life lately. But a theory I've been working on just about did the the joy squid in Back to Earth, has Doug Naylor tried to pull the wool over everybody's eyes for the last 14 years? Did it really go down the way it appears to go down when you watch Back to Earth? Or was there something slightly different going on? Were they already in the dream state long before it seems that they get covered in squid ink in the program? So I'm doing a theory on that. It's just taking longer than I thought because I'm trying to do all this green screen stuff and put myself into Red Dwarf. Also had some cool results with that, actually using a freebie AI thing for removing people. So I've actually removed cast members from some of the shots of the show so that I can be in those shots. And it's worked pretty well. Made myself like a digital set. Really interesting, and I'm hoping you guys are going to like it when it eventually comes out. Good, we've got comments coming through. Okay, everything's working. Anyone here collect the Red Dwarf Futera cards? Seems to be creeping up in price. No, I've not looked at those. Not personally. I don't know if other guys in the comments have. Cinder Fallen Angels, never heard of them. No, I mean, I think I have heard. I've heard them mentioned, but they're not something I've looked into, not something I've been investigating. As I say, I'm kind of more of a Smegazines person. If it comes to any sort of memorabilia, I don't go too deep with memorabilia personally. I like having all the books, but they're not like any special editions and they're not signed. pretty much just the Smegazines, because that's what gives us more Red Dwarf stories to look at and enjoy. Same with the books. We've got all the episodes from the show. I am so bad with figures. I can't remember. Is it 80? Are we on like 78 shows now? Or is it? No, it's an odd number because of the Promised Land. Is it like 79 shows? Someone will know in the comments. Anyone who's looked at the Ganymede and Titan, the Coral Canvas results from a few weeks back, someone will know. But it's about nearly 80 shows. But that's all you get, unless you include the Smegazines, because the Smegazines are a really cool mix. Let's start opening them, in fact. They're a really cool mix of stories we know. So you're going to see in some of these a couple of stories from the first few episodes of the show, plus a load of stories we've never seen before. So let's have a little look, shall we? I just need to hope. I'm going to flip over and pray that OBS continues to work. We're working, I think. I think we're working. Let me know if the sound is still there. I am hoping and praying that it is. So we're onto my little cheap webcam now, but it should be enough to do this unboxing. So let's make sure we've got this in just the right position. Hey, everyone. Okay. We have in here... okay, we have a big picture of Ace Rimmer, which isn't quite what I was hoping for. That's more like it. Oh, we're in a weird order. Okay, I didn't realise they were in a weird order. Like I say, I had a peek inside to make sure I had all 9. I'll flip them around so you guys can see. I had a peek inside to make sure I had all 9 magazines, but I didn't really pay attention to the order, so that's kind of fun. So we've got issue number 2 from April 1992. Issue number 3, 4. So it just looks like the first one's somewhere else. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's the first edition, which I knew the first one has some damage on. I knew that before I bought them. Let me just double check you guys are getting this feed. I believe it was 74 episodes because Back to Earth was in 3 parts. Okay, that makes sense. So we have these. Oh, I have to keep flipping back so I can see what I'm doing. So the first one I knew had some damage, so this bottom corner has been torn off. But apart from that, things are looking all right. The outside of the mags actually looks really good. Let's start with the first one. So I paid 50 quid for this lot, by the way. 50 quid for 9 magazines seemed a lot to me. I suppose it's not that bad when you consider the vintage. So, oh, is that coming out on camera? That's, okay, not the nicest down the bottom of the magazine. I don't know if that's something spilt, but that looks like foxing or mildew. So I'm going to have to, thankfully it's slightly glossy. So I think I should be able to fix that with some alcohol. But still, that's not great to see. But we have the end, the very first episode of Red Dwarf from Series 1, done as a comic book. If you haven't seen these before, it's so cool to see it. Everyone looks slightly different, so Lister's got kind of... Lister's not too different, I wouldn't say, actually. But, you know, it's a different interpretation. It's not necessarily Craig Charles, but it's still Lister. Whereas Rimmer there, I'll try and find a bigger Rimmer picture in a minute. Rimmer could be like anybody. It's not wanting to focus very well, but that could be anyone for Rimmer. You'll see better if I can find a larger picture. There we go. It's kind of... It's not a million miles away from Chris Barry, but I wouldn't say it's directly modelled on him. I mean, look at that one. It's in the ballpark. Obviously, it's pre-accident, so there's no H on his head. He's not dead yet. But yeah, really cool artwork on these. This first this first story, really limited colours, really not muted colours, but it's kind of just reds and oranges. This is kind of a grey blue in the light that I'm in, but really an interesting colour scheme they've gone for. The magazine's improving a bit. There's still a bit of yellowing down there, which isn't great. And this, it's weird. The first, obviously the outside cover is glossy, slightly glossy, kind of like a satin. But so's the inside page. So that first page and the back of it is glossy, and then you're into matte, like a newspaper kind of feel, or like a Beano type magazine, or a thing, a comic book. Kind of cool, kind of interesting to see something from so long ago. 1992, we're talking, what, 30, well, 31 years ago. Really cool. Takes you through to the story, so I know where this is going to end from looking at the PDFs online. So we get to George McIntyre's funeral. For some reason, they've made George McIntyre absolutely terrifying looking as his hologram. There we go. Don't know why, but for me, that's always been like a really frightening photo. So we have his funeral and a little disco afterwards, and that's where the first part of the magazine ends, and the rest goes into the rest of the story is done in another magazine. Interview with Chris Barry, Beginner's Guide to Red Dwarf, which isn't as stupid as it sounds. In fact, the whole thing of repeating the first story from Red Dwarf makes a whole lot of sense, really, when you think about the fact that back in 1992, you didn't have streaming, you couldn't re-watch easily. The DVDs, CDs, DVDs, videos weren't out. So there's a lot of people who might have jumped on the series in Series 3, Series 4, and have never seen the very first episode and don't know the full setup of the show. So this actually makes a lot of sense. And it was, I don't know when they would have started, somebody else in the comments is bound to know, but I don't know exactly when they would have started replaying the shows on BBC. So we've got a long interview with Rimmer here. Chris Barry. Quite a long interview, actually. What, 3 pages, 4 pages? Holly facts, which is kind of cool. Admittedly, because I've been focused on the work I've been doing is focused on the main stories, so I haven't read almost all of this. So this is really cool to see. Advert for Judge Dredd magazine. So we're already in the first edition advertising other magazines, which is kind of bizarre to me. Series 5 preview. So that's where we were in terms of real life, if you like. By 1992, everyone had seen Series 4, and this was just when Series 5 was about to drop. So that's really cool. Sort of behind-the-scenes photos we're probably quite familiar with now, but they would have been real exclusives back in the day. Huge picture of Danny. Absolutely full page, full picture of Danny, but it's not like... It's not the centerfold. You can't, like, take it out and pin it on your wall. Could you pilot Red Dwarf? Some cool little quizzes you can do. We're going to have to do these on a stream sometime. That's a big quiz, actually, if that's what it is. We're going to have to do these on a stream. I'm going to have to move on because we've got 9 of these to go for. So, fixing something about reality. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Caption competition. Caption it. I'd love to know who wins that. Hopefully I'll have the right magazine to see that. Oh, crosswords. No, it hasn't been filled out. Oh, thankfully. And it's not a have you got a good memory quiz. But no one's filled it out. That's really cool. Or is it a joking one? Oh, hang on. Fish. Okay, it's a joking one. Maybe don't take that too seriously. Studio report. Really cool picture of Craig. Well, of Lister there. That's a great picture. Oh, I'd like that on like a poster. That's really cool. I'm not cutting up this magazine to get it though. Continuing on from the previous thing. So studio report. Must have been making the episode... whatever that one was. I've gone blank. Typically on the stream, I go blank on episode names. Oh, and the knowledge thing, there's answers for stuff earlier in the magazine, so we can answer our own questions. Merch! Oh, how much I wish we could still get a load of Red Dwarf merch easily. I'm sure we will very soon, now all the legal stuff's sorted for Red Dwarf. Merch! You could actually send off, you'd have to put this in the post, send it off with your credit card details in it. How I would not trust that. But that's what you had to do back in the day. How much was a t-shirt? Let me have a quick look. £8. £8 is all a t-shirt used to cost in 1992. That's absolutely ace. Terraform. Thank you, the lost sub Arisian. Ah, still can't get your name right. I'm so sorry. Yeah, £8 for a t-shirt. That's amazing. Oh, hang on. You had to add post and packaging cost of £1.90. That's all it was, £1.90 to get that delivered, I think that's trying to say. So, £9.90 for an official Red Dwarf t-shirt. That was a bargain back in the day. Let's grab issue 2. So now we're into the ones... what's going on with this one? It's got something on the outside. So now we're into ones which have not got damage on the front of the magazine. So that's a nice step up already. Check it out. The colours are just fabulous on that. Fabulous! Absolutely brilliant. So as I say, you've got a glossy front page, a glossy second and third page, then you're into matte. So you can... I don't know if it's coming across on camera. Probably not. The blacks are blacker It's got better contrast on that side. So the first few pages look absolutely amazing. But I just don't quite understand. As I say, I can understand the outside cover needing to be glossy to protect the magazine, but why would you do just the inside page? It seems bizarre to me. I'm sure somebody who understands the magazine trade would understand that. Inside, that one's glossy as well. So there we go. Red Dwarf magazine. Oh, so let's say this one's got a competition thing, video competition, and it's still got it on the outside. So stick your stamp on there to send off your competition entry. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm guessing it's to win a couple of videos. Absolutely brilliant. So we're continuing the story from the end. Now I'm not sure. I've been puzzling on this one for when I did my What's That Rock on the Side of Red Dwarf. I was puzzling. Is this supposed to be the meteorite on the side of Red Dwarf? Or is it just passing ludicrously close to something? Like passing really close to a moon or something? I'm not sure. It looks bizarre to me. What do you guys think? That looks too close to just be passing by. It does to me anyhow. Okay, so jumping in. We've got all the different stuff we accept. We've got the stuff you expect. Rimmer freaking out in his astronavs exam. We've got Frankenstein moving through. We've got obviously Rimmer passing out. Christine Kachansky. We've got a clear picture of her in here. Very different look. Very, very different look they were going for in this one. I guess because she's literally only in like literally three pictures. Four pictures in all of the magazines. 5. That's all she needs to be in. So I guess it's not kind of important. I guess I just considered Christine not that important because they won't be drawing her for a long, long time again. It's weird how much they changed her. Moving on, you've got this I always found really cool. Looking at the PDFs online. This is the dream of Fiji actually shown. So we can tell it's Fiji because we've got the volcano in the background. He's got his sheep and a cow and he's breeding horses. And he's still got Frankenstein with him. So that's really, really cool. I really like seeing the dream. That's really ace. Then we go on. We've got entering and exiting stasis and coming out and being told by Holly that everyone's dead. And in fact, I think, there we go, we get a massive picture of Holly telling him how long he's been in stasis, 3 million years. And that's the kind of cliffhanger ending for this one. We've got Lister's cooking ideas. That's going to be gross, but I want to try them all. That's something we're going to have to do on a stream one day. Robert Llewellyn interview. Obviously just after having done the episode Camille with his then girlfriend. So that's really cool. More Robert Llewellyn. Really cool to see the faces side by side. That would have been a pretty rare thing to see. Not a lot of people, I suppose, at first would have been aware of just exactly what Robert looked like without the mask. Hologram. So this was, I believe this is people writing in. So Dear Holly. Yeah, so I don't know if it's real or they're made up for a bit of a joke. But it's supposed to be people writing to Holly and Holly's response. In just the most bizarre kind of colours. Kind of make me think of those Parma violets. Is that what they're called? The little sweeties that are all this colour? Makes me think of those. Red Dwarf USA. So stuff that was going on there. That would have been interesting. So if this is the end of Series 4, beginning of Series 5 coming out. That's exactly when they were making the Red Dwarf USA. There was every chance at this point that it was going to get made. So that would have been fascinating for people at the time, I'm sure. Literal dates of things going on. Bizarre. I'm looking forward to reading through these myself. I've been saving them up. I've had them for about a week and waiting to go through these. So more adverts for Judge Dredd. All the World is a... Oh, it's so upside down for me. All the World is a conceptual map. I'm not sure exactly what that's about, but it sounds interesting. Big picture of Craig Charles. And we're getting towards the end of the episode. End of the episode. What's wrong with me? End of the magazine. And we've got episode guides. These are cool. I didn't notice this in the previous one. Telling and describing all the episodes of Series 3. Again, probably catching people up if they haven't seen every episode. That's really quite cool to see. We're on the glossy section. The Red Dwarf fun page. So we'll have to check out the fun that's going on there. Advertising the videos with video covers I have never ever seen. They must have just been something someone's put together really quickly for the magazines before the video covers were sort of finalised. I don't know if you can quite see that on the camera. But yeah, really bizarre. Nothing like any video cover I've ever seen for Red Dwarf. Oh, and a massive picture of Danny on the back. Just if, you know, just for the cat fans out there to really enjoy. So, issue number 3. I'm going to whiz through a bit quicker on this one. So, again, big cool glossy picture on the front of the guys. Now, these are obviously really well modelled on the faces. I assume they didn't get the guys to pose for it, though, because I've never seen set pictures of that exact pose. But yeah, really well modelled. Great pictures. And we're into the colourful stuff again. Ah, that rock seems to be gone. Unless it's a different side of the ship, I'm not sure. But the rock seems to be gone. So I think that's my answer. They decided not to do the asteroid in the magazines, it seems. So we've got all the different stuff going on. Lister's sort of saying, you know, it was going to be Kachansky riding a white horse, wearing a white dress and riding the horses. So it's his Fiji dream again, whizzing through. We've got all the different stuff with Rimmer coming alive. So, Rimmer coming in the magazines, they've stuck to what was originally planned for Red Dwarf, where he was going to be in black and white, which was the original plan for Red Dwarf. This is what the guy, Doug and Rob originally wanted, but couldn't do technically or financially. It's really cool that they're able to do that in the magazines. And of course they did that very recently in the Promised Land. Finally got to get the black and white Rimmer they've always wanted. There we go. The cat's making his first appearance, looking absolutely spiffy. Great outfit. Quite different to the one in the TV episode at the end where it's just a pink suit. I mean, it's still a flamboyant suit with like big shoulder pads and stuff. But great to have something even more flamboyant here. I always look forward to a good cat outfit. Catching a cable there, whizzing through. So we end up with not quite finishing the end, it looks like. Oh no, hang on, there we go. We have finished the end where it says it's the beginning. So we've done the full episode of the end. It took well, are we on the 3rd or 4th magazine? 3rd. So Holly calling, some sort of weird Holly thing going on with both the Hollies. Great to see Norman in it. Interview with Hattie Hayridge. As I say, I'm going to whiz through this one and then I'm going to look at your comments in a sec, guys. So more Hattie Hayridge with some bizarre artwork with a face sort of cartoony face stretched. I'm not sure what that's about. And more of those weird video covers that just don't match anything I've ever seen for Red Dwarf. Okay, I've only had the DVDs, but still, it's just not even similar to anything I've ever seen. Moving on through though. The Visitor's Guide to Red Dwarf. Oh, more t-shirts for sale. Still at £8. Baseball cap, £5. That's such a bargain. Does anyone think if I send this off now, I might actually get something? There's a part of me that's actually tempted to try. I'm not gonna. Okay, Better Than Life. But it really... Better Than Life, but it really screws you up. Not sure what that is. Or the unofficial history of the official Red Dwarf fan club. Okay, cool. That's actually really cool to see. So we've got the unofficial history, it's probably tongue-in-cheek, of the fan club. That's really great. Because the kind of people who are going to be buying this magazine, let's be honest, it's going to be the fans fan club members are going to be buying the magazine. That's really cool. I'm looking forward to reading that. Judge Dredd, again, he keeps popping up. The Red Dwarf fan page, more fun page. I keep reading things upside down wrong. So we've got more sort of competition stuff we can go through. Caption competitions. Oh, that was the one from the first magazine. Right. So, in the first magazine, do we have it? There it is. So, yeah, we had the caption competition in here for the Mr. Flibble pose. So, winner was Jane Butterworth of Coventry. Bearing in mind, once you've made your choice of body on the planet Metamorph, no matter how drunk you were, you're stuck with it for 3 smegging months. Therefore, just 2 things I'd like to point out. 1, I happen to like red. And 2, that isn't a dinner jacket you're wearing, is it, Lister? I have no idea what that's about. I didn't get the quote, but there we go. That didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. That isn't a dinner jacket you're wearing, Lister. I Okay, the punchline was slightly lost on me, and they went for the longest caption I've ever seen. Normally you're thinking caption competition, it needs to be something short and snappy. You know, I'm thinking it needs to be something like, Mr. Flubber, I hope you don't mind me having my hand up your ass. That kind of thing. This was a bit of a bizarre one for me. If anyone else got the joke, I did not. The Red Dwarf episode guide, series 1? Hello, hang on. So I've read these in order, haven't I? Yep. So, the Red Dwarf episode guide. Yep, I've read them in order. So we did series 3 before in the previous magazine. Now we're doing series 1. That's a bizarre choice, but it's what they went for. More holograms in that awful colour. And that's the end of the magazine. We don't have an obvious kind of back page thing, other than a little thing saying next issue there. It's actually not obvious it's the back page to me. Then we end up on a big picture of Rimmer. Bizarre. Okay, some bizarre stuff in there. Let me flip back to cameras and hope things don't crash on me this time. How are you all doing, guys? Good to see you again, as it were. Let's go through a few comments before we do issue 4. Gosh, how far back do I need to go? The sheep on stilts. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing of, you know, it's so when you go through the magazine, it's kind of the fantasy bit is you've got Lister describing as fantasy, but then you've got Rimmer criticising it and saying, you know, oh, never mind, you could always just give them stilts. Or better still, you could crossbreed them with dolphin and turn them into leaping mutton. So you got that bit. So you kind of got like 2 fantasies shown, 2 bits of artwork. Rimmer's one and Lister's one. So it's really cool to see them on stilts. You're absolutely right. Kind of, in a weird way, it brings it alive in a way the show just can't do. It's really nice to have differences. So it's not just a rehash of the stories in here. It's giving them new life and a new dimension. It's really, really cool. Jeremy Jasic? I probably got that wrong, I'm very sorry. I wonder if this was anyone's introduction to Red Dwarf. Who knows? I mean, I think it'd be bizarre to... It must be very bizarre. You wouldn't... I can't see why I'd be in Tesco's or, you know, it'd be Woolworths back then. Back in Woolworths in 1992, why would I buy the magazine if I didn't watch the show? I just can't see that happening. Although I could imagine someone being in a house with these, say you've got an older brother or sister who watches it. That might make sense. I could see that being a way that these are someone's introduction. And it would certainly be someone's introduction to episodes they might have missed. I could certainly see that. Very impressive artwork. I think I'm reading these in the wrong order. Cinder Fallen Angel. The quizzes sound fun. Yeah, we're going to have to go through those another day. Rimmer being oiled up for the unspeakable one. Yeah, it's from Terraform. The merch looks so cool. I did get some Series 11 stuff, but I didn't get a hoodie. Wish I did. Oh, hoodies are so expensive when they're merch ones, though, aren't they? Cost an absolute fortune. I mean, I've looked at it for this channel to get things like this printed for people. And like a t-shirt's reasonable. Hoodie, you're looking at like probably 60, 70 pounds you're supposed to charge, which I can't possibly charge you guys 60 or 70 pounds for a hoodie. It'd be insane. Yeah, just can't do that one. I can't bring myself to do that. Yeah, the Lost Cerberus. Okay, no worries. Jeremy Jasic, love that cover. I don't know which one you meant, but yeah, the covers are just so cool in here. Yeah, they're just so colourful. I love the artwork on them. Who's that modelled on? So I'm guessing, was that the one for Kachansky? I have no idea, because it barely looked like a passable person. Who played Hudson 10? Oh, is that... Someone's going to say. Gordon Kennedy. Yes, of course it is. Gordon Kennedy, who's a Scottish comedian. Doesn't sound Scottish in it at all. I've rewatched the documentary for that series recently, Series 3. And he was talking about, like... He just felt like he needed to have a voice ready to go in for the audition or for talking to Rob and Doug. So he spent a night sort of practicing that deep voice for Hudson 10. You know, I am the replacement, or whatever he says. He spent a night practicing that and almost wished he hadn't, because it absolutely was like ripping out his vocal cords by the time they'd done the filming. But yeah, absolutely loved the work he did there. It looks so cool, and he looks so sort of chiseled jawed. And I always thought growing up, as a child, I always thought it was like Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's got that kind of look about him. Obviously it wasn't. Obviously they'd never get some huge actor in that costs them thousands of pounds for the day. Although they've had some cool cameos before. So who knows? I can't see Jean-Claude Van Damme being a massive Dwarf fan, though. I could be wrong. Let's not judge. Patrick Stewart's the guest star I think we all want to see one day. Patrick Stewart is the man we want to see on Red Dwarf. That would be so awesome. If Paramount will actually let him. Maybe they don't like the idea of it. So I'm meeting Hattie at NCon. Yeah, now cool. So EMCon, is it? Yep. So at one of the conventions. So one of the videos I'm going to be doing soonish. I've been sending off some. I need to send messages to like the cast. You never know, I might get a response. You never know. I wanted to do a bit like I did a merch roundup before Christmas. I wanted to do a Meet the Boys video and just literally just read the guys' itineraries so that you guys can know if there's going to be a Comic-Con near you or something where you can meet the cast or any of the other crew members. So I've seen that there's I don't know if it's already been, I don't know if we missed it, but at the Telford Comic-Con or something, there's going to be Chris Barry and Doug Naylor, which is really cool. It's at Telford, but it's like it's almost near Wales, which for me is just it's like a 2.5-3 hour drive to then go into queues for hours, to then pay a load of money to meet these guys. It's just not going to work for me after spending all the money on fuel and transport. But I'd have loved to have gone to that. That would have been awesome to meet Chris Barry and Doug Naylor. That would have been super cool. So I'm going to try and message the guys and find out their different itineraries. Craig Charles is super busy doing his DJing, but it's easy enough to find out what he's up to. That's all on. They're all on pretty big websites. Danny John Jules is probably one of the hardest because he doesn't have his website doesn't seem to get updated. Chris Barry tends to put his dates on his website, so he's not too hard to find out. Robert Llewellyn is super busy with the Fully Charged show, although one of my friends actually works for the Fully Charged show as a videographer. He's actually makes the videos, which is really cool. So I might just send him a message and go, is Robert actually going to be at like the Fully Charged live shows? Will people get a chance to see him? And I'll find out for you. That's probably going to be the easiest person, the easiest cast member to find out about, because I can just ask one of his own staff. Moving on. Oh, and I must message Rob and Doug and see if they can tell me if they're going to be at other Comic-Cons throughout the year. That was the other one. Got off on a bit of a tangent there, kind of a talent of mine. They even drew the groinal attachment on Crichton there. Did they? I must have missed that one. Or was that on one of the covers? Yes, kind of. It's kind of the groinal attachment. It's the sort of belt thing, isn't it? Doesn't quite have the parts coming out of it, but that's probably a relief. It's so weird. When I was talking to, excuse me, Zach, when I did an interview talking to Capsy, Jonathan Caps from Ganymede and Titan, it kind of occurred to me that like things that I think of as like absolutely integral to characters, some of them we've only seen in the show like once or twice. So I always think of Crichton, a big part of his character is the groinal attachment. It's in 2 episodes. Literally 2. It's in Polymorph, the famous one, where he's got to get the red boxes off of Lister. And it's in Tika to Ride. But that's not even really Crichton. It's one of his spare heads, sort of pretending to be Crichton. And he has the egg whisk thingy for mixing people's drinks. 2 appearances, but I think of that as such an integral thing to his character. Really bizarre. Really, really bizarre. Might have to get me some Smegazines. They seem interesting. Yeah, they are on eBay, but usually people are wanting about £12 a magazine. So I got 9 of them for £50, and I thought I'd spent a lot of money. But when you look at it as people are wanting like £9, £10, £11 per magazine, it's not so bad. And these are in order. So that's pretty good, I suppose. That first one does look a bit brown inside, but the rest of these have looked pretty good. Don't seem to have spots all along these, so I think I've got away with it for most of them. I live in hoodies, but I did buy a Christmas jumper. Yeah, everyone's got to have a good ugly Christmas jumper. It's just part of British life, isn't it, these days? The cover of the issue 3 mentioned a badge in the corner, so there might be something missing on that one. Oh, yeah. Well, I suppose that was always unlikely. I mean, it has been 21 years. Warning, if badge removed from cover, there will be a potentially lethal emission of cadmium-free. Danger. Yeah, oh, I've missed my badge. Oh, free badge. Oh, yeah, look, there's a tiny white mark up there. don't know if you can see like a glue mark, so I'm guessing that's where it was. Oh, I'm gutted. Oh, want a Red Dwarf badge. Okay, issue 4. Let's crack on and whiz through these really quick. Oh, any more questions? They had a better drawing of the attachment on issue 3's fun page. Oh, well, you guys are on the ball. How do you remember this stuff? Probably because I'm looking at everything upside down. Ah, do you mean this bizarre picture here? Yeah, proper vacuum cleaner there. That is really cool to see, actually, because we've never seen much of the groinal attachments. I do want to see more of them, but I guess you can milk a joke and ruin it, and it's... Yeah, I suppose we don't want the guys to ruin the joke. So, let me flip over and hope, again, that I don't lose audio. Okay, issue 4. Here we go. Huge picture of Holly looking kind of realistic and kind of digital at the same time. Cool. Infinity welcomes careful readers, so we got a nice reference to the books there. And jumping in, so we're not starting immediately with the first main story of the magazine. We've now got smaller stories going on. This is where it starts to get really cool in the magazines, when we start to get alternative stories that are not taken straight out of the show, and the magazines kind of take on their own personality. So this is just like a little mini thing, just a one-pager with Holly and looks like Crichton as well. Then we get into Mutinous Pursuits, which is a fun story. Oh, look, survey. Fan survey. Must have been like the original polls like Ganymede and Titan do, the OG version. Mutinous Pursuits. So, this is a really cool story. It's very, very similar, actually, to some of the stuff that was in Mechocracy from series 11 or 12, I can't remember, where all the machines on board turn against the crew, mainly the Scutters in this case. The Scutters go on strike, just like happened in Mechocracy. So we've got a really similar story, but what's brilliant is it's not from the TV show. So we've got all the Scutters going on strike, all the sort of debates going around trying to work out what to do and how they're going to live without them and stuff. And we end up, finally, once we get to the end of it, the big reveal. Maybe I shouldn't tell you. Maybe I should save it for when one day I'd love to animate these so you have it like, that would be just that panel would be on screen, then the next one, and I'd blank over the words, and we get people to do the voices. Maybe I shouldn't give the end away, but on this one, it's basically they agree. The only way they can get everybody off strike is that Lister agrees that he's just going to turn off Rimmer every now and then to give everybody a break. That's basically the end of it. I think I've got that slightly misworded, but it's about right. The interview with Danny John Jules. Cool picture, more cool artwork. Absolutely love that. Although that is the smallest starbug in the world, if that's to scale. Moving on through. So we've got, Danny John Jules interview. Great sort of behind the scenes picture of him just in his regular clothes. It's always been so stylish. I mean, there's no acting. When it comes to the stylish side of the cat, there's absolutely no acting for Danny, is there? Just absolutely loves the flamboyant stuff. Are you a Red Dwarf fan? Well, you'd hope someone is if they've bought this magazine. I'm not even going to comment. I'm just going to say disturbing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll just move on. Somebody's idea of a Red Dwarf fan is crooked. We'll keep moving on from that one. Now we've got a guide to Series 4. So we had Series 3 in one magazine, then went to Series 1. Now we're on to Series 4's guide. Just so bizarre. Holograms again in that hideous colour. And then we've got we're into another story, but this isn't one of the original story. So this isn't an original story for the magazine. We've got Future Echoes in a magazine form, which is really cool to see. Future Echoes shown here. So we start with the whole thing of the vending machine giving out the wrong stuff because its voice unit is broken. Stuff we're familiar with. Black and white Rimmer still, which I just think is really cool, actually. Really does work. Really makes it obvious that he's a hologram. I think it works really well, actually. So we've actually got the conversations. It's not just Rimmer stood in the teaching room sort of talking to himself. He's actually supposed to be working out. He's trying to hit a punching bag when he can't touch things. Moving on, we've got the whole thing of the wacky hairstyle for Rimmer, which is done really well in the magazine. Love the huge beehive. That's absolutely cool. The picture of Lister's Nan actually looks just like the TV show. They got that picture spot on. And I think actually that looks more like Craig Charles now. That one on the side looks a lot more like Craig Charles now. We've got slightly different colours coming in as well. So the previous one for the end was just sort of reds and oranges and dark and sort of blacks. We've got a bit of blue and more of a bright yellow coming in now. So it's a sort of it's a nicer feel, I'd say. Got the cat trying to nick a robot fish. We've got a lot of the story here, which is bizarre because I know from having looked at these online, it goes into about 5 different. They've stretched this particular story, Future Echoes, across about 5 magazines. We're onto the glossy page here, as you can see. So we're right at the back. This is supposed to be like, bringing in corpses. The Rimmer's idea of like, oh yeah, I'm sure in the future they've cured death easily. His Mrs. Whoever give her 2 of these twice a day. Kind of bizarre to see that. And we end at the point of, where are we? Oh yeah, it's sort of joking that Lister will probably make it as a male model. So there's a lot there. It's a really long spread. It's about 9 or 10 pages. But we're barely into Future Echoes, so no wonder it ended up on 5 different issues. What's our back picture? Oh yeah, it's the gross space mumps. Nice. I don't know if that back page has got quite faded though. What do you reckon? No, they're all quite weak colours, I suppose. Looks very washed out to me though. So, number 5. Let's keep whizzing through these. Future Echoes Part 2. So we're at the start of the magazine now. Really bizarre. We do have the rock formation in the side of Red Dwarf again now. It's kind of hard to make out on camera, but this kind of dark patch here I think is meant to be the rock anyway. It doesn't look like straight slab sides like you'd get on something made out of steel. So, Future Echoes. We've got the sticking shaving foam on his armpits thing. They've made Lister have a real beer gut in these. And we've got, similar to the, if anyone's read Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers, when they hit light speed, it describes in quite a lot of detail for quite a long time the whole thing of like Lister's arm stretching out in front of him and sort of going off into the distance, and his arm and his limbs getting absolutely huge. They've kind of done that here. They're trying to get some of that in the magazine with like spaghetti arms, still really, really long. Cool that they've sort of brought in elements from the book. Yeah, I like that. I think that's cool. Still spaghetti-ish and all bizarre over here. Even his razor's got bent up here. So we've got this whole scene. I think there's just a lot of dialogue in Future Echoes, which is why this ended up stretched over about 5 magazines. They don't seem to have done very much in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 6 pages. They did like 9 or 10 in the previous magazine. So they've given it less for that story. So what other stories have they put in there? Read any good books lately? So this is like book reviews, but they're not the Red Dwarf books, which is interesting. It looks like fantasy and sci-fi, which seems appropriate. Just bizarre that it's not Red Dwarf books. Are you ready, or are you worthy of a Red Dwarf t-shirt? Oh, I so wish I could have these. Look at that Inquisitor one. I've never seen an Inquisitor t-shirt. That's absolutely ace. I want one. So I'm trying to get that one in focus. So Red Dwarf 5, The Search for Sanity. Never seen that t-shirt. I absolutely want it. I'm sure somebody's printed it somewhere online illegally, no doubt. More holograms, given a bit more space now. That was what, 1 page in the previous magazine near the front, 2 pages here. I feel like there's 2 stuck together. Series 2, they are doing the episode recaps in such a bizarre order. Series 2 now, with the female crew. That's great to see them. Craig Charles interview. Some cool pictures of Craig Charles in costume. More Red Dwarf fan pages. Oh, look, a picture that looks correct for me because it's upside down for you. All things Crichton beautiful. I have no idea why that's been printed upside down, but I'm sure it will make sense if I get one time, if I eventually get round to reading it. More Crichton stuff. So, oh, are we actually got a... This kind of a jokey half, not a comic book, but like a monologue. Because I know in other ones there are like little monologues and things of Crichton talking. So I wonder if that's this. That seems to be what this is, like a little story done as like a monologue. Cool. Ah, great, an Ace Rimmer story. Ace Rimmer, Space Adventurer. This is a really brilliant story. I have read this one, again, from the online, the stuff that's online. We're into, we're into the female crew. We're in the other dimension. So we've got Deb and Arlene, but other stuff going on. Really bizarre looking. I don't think I've read, maybe I've not read this particular story. I think that one's a dream. Stuff going on there, bizarre things happening. Moving on, but at some point we should see they're checking in on a children's bedroom. Can you see? Little children's toys, and they're checking in through the doorway. That's because this is set after Series 3, when it says in the opening crawl that they had to take the boys, Jim and Bexley, back to the female universe to be with their mother, father, whatever you want to call it. They had to go back to their mother or father to live with them because they were aging too quickly in our universe. And there they are. Let me switch screens so I can make sure you can see it. There they are, Jim and Bexley, just down here, sat at a table being served by Crichton, or a female version of Crichton. Jim and Bexley. First time we've ever seen them as adults. I think that's really cool, personally. I really like seeing that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pleased to have seen Jim and Bexley make an appearance somewhere. More holograms and a next issue, and our back picture is the Mad Rimmer with Mr. Flibble. Okay, we're going to have to really whiz through now. We've got The Geep from Magazine 6, another story just for the magazines, which is super cool to see. The Geep. Now, this is a really fun one. We're into a different art style, really detailed on the ship. They've gone mega detailed for the ship. Different art style, though. Much more colourful. And this is a story about this bizarre genetically engineered life form, another Gelf, that's designed to be so cute that whoever has it will protect it with their lives. They'll literally use deadly force to protect it because it's so cute. But the only problem is the cat isn't a human, so it doesn't work on him, and the cat just wants to eat it like he did the robot goldfish, which ends up with Lister literally picking up a bazookoid and shooting at the cat, shooting at his friend the cat to try and protect the Geep. So the only thing they can do, they found the Geep floating in deep space. That's what they picked it up with Starbug. The only thing they can do in the end, I think Crichton has to put it back in deep space in the little pod. It's the only thing you can do to protect the crew from shooting each other. Kind of a cool story, actually. And check, yeah, as I say, the art style is slightly different, and we've got like much more modelled on the guys' faces now. Much more, I'm a bit stretched there on this piece of paper, but much more modelled on the actors. The Art of Lying. So we've got another fun monologue with Crichton. Grant Naylor interview. That's cool. So we've got Rob Grant and Doug Naylor being interviewed. Been a while since that's happened. At least together, anyhow. So going through and even talking about the books that they've written together. So that's really cool. More holograms, some more Holly talking. The next issue thing is in this centre page. That's bizarre. The name game, not exactly sure what that is, but more games, the better. I'm happy with that. The name game, some sort of bizarre thing we can play. Series 5 being covered. That makes a bit more sense because it was Series 4 last time, I believe. Just something just popped up on my computer, just making sure you guys are still getting a stream. Moving on. Future Echoes Part 3. So now we're into the story from the actual TV show. Great picture of the guys from Back to Reality, by the way. Really cool picture. So we're back to Future Echoes, where we've got some cool views that kind of expand Red Dwarf in a way that the TV show just can't do. So we've got this whole idea of a metro system within Red Dwarf, which is tiny bit glimpsed in Series 8. If you look at the Canary shuttle in one of the episodes, I can't quite remember which, the Canary shuttle, out the back window of it, you can see, I can't remember if it's a deleted scene or if it's the main show, but you can see like they're supposed to be on a metro and like stuff's whizzing by. But it's cool to see it really shown. It makes Red Dwarf just look so much more huge. Cool, good detail on the Red Dwarf. Again, we've got the rock underneath. The rock's really big, so that's good to see. Ooh, pages sticking. A bit more colour coming in as well. We've got some pinks and purples. We've got the cat breaking his tooth, as we know he does in Future Echoes. And we end with So that is the end of the Future Echoes story. Sorry, not the end of the Future Echoes story. They found the picture of the two babies, Jim and Bexley, but they're wondering how it got there. They haven't taken the picture as such. So we've still got more to come. Back pages, caption competition winners. We're not going into that again because it was such a disappointment last time. I'll check those in my own time and let you know if they're any good. We're going to have to keep whizzing through. I'm supposed to be doing individual videos for each magazine to do an showing each magazine. It's not going to be much point if I go into too much detail. Cool picture of the polymorph, absolutely brilliant, with the little thing as well. I heard the guys from Ganymede and Titan going through this or one of the other magazines on one of their podcasts, sort of saying they were discussing what is the polymorph's actual shape. Is it this big, huge, scary thing, or was that just to scare Lister so that they could take his fear? Interesting question. I personally think the little thing that slimes along the corridors in Red Dwarf, I actually think that's the polymorph's original real shape. Because when it sees the mirror, it's like, oh no, gross, which is what makes me think it's sort of like, if that was just something it changed into, it just changed into something else if it didn't like the look. I think that's its original shape. But that's just me. That's my theory. Future Echoes Part 4. We're going to whiz through. Keep whizzing through. So, who said what? Cool game. We got to try and guess what line came from which episode. I think the guys from Ganymede and Titan actually played this on their podcast, and I think only like 1 or 2 mistakes were made. They did really well. Red Dwarf fun page. More stuff going on there. Holograms in that really hard to read colour. Just doesn't show up on camera. The monsters of Red Dwarf. So this is cool behind the scenes stuff of the various monsters. The Curry Monster, Camille, Polymorph. We've got we've got the we've got that one. We've got that one. I've gone blank. Jake Bullet. So we've got a cool. This is a weird one. I've read this. It's like a monologue from a 1950s gangster movie sort of thing. You know, it was my first day on the job. So and going through, and it's as if he's talking as Jake Bullet, but it's just joke after joke after joke. It's very, very clever, actually. Read any good books lately? Some more sort of sci-fi and fantasy. David Ross interview, which starts there, sort of 2/3 the way along a page, slightly bizarre. But David Ross, who played the first incarnation of Crichton, really cool to start getting interviews with not just the main cast, but guys who sort of came in for one episode, and we had Grant Naylor in the previous one. Really cool to get people a bit beyond the main cast. Fashion Victim is a bit of a bizarre story. Basically, it's the cat dreaming. Most of it's him dreaming about someone coming to take all his cool clothes. And at the end of it, he just decides he didn't like that dream and deletes it. So it's a bit of an anticlimax, but it is a fun story. Cool one-off for this magazine. And then we get the incredible Reverse Brothers. Sensational Reverse Brothers. Right, 2 to go. We can whiz through these. It's supposed to be done in an hour. I've got 50 seconds left. I think I'm going to go over. No artwork, I'm afraid, everybody. I am really sorry. Number 8 has no front cover artwork. It's just a photo. That's a bit of a disappointment if you ask me. Maybe they're just experimenting to see what would sort of work, what would fly with people. Bit disappointing. We're still in Future Echoes. I really stretched it out. We're on part 5 now. But as I say, there is a lot of dialogue in that particular episode. Whizzing through, we've got, I'm going to smack Death on the head or whatever. We've got the whole thing of like thinking that the machine's going to blow up in his face and kill him, but it doesn't, and then the cat attacks him for breaking his tooth. Speaking to the old version of Lister. And, okay, so we have finally finished the story. We end up with them taking the photo of the twins, Jim and Bexley. So finally, we have actually finished Future Echoes, which is brilliant. Great to see that. So, Dimension Jump 1992. Gosh, this is going back, isn't it? One of the first Dimension Jumps. The first Red Dwarf convention. Dimension Jump 92. Absolutely amazing. I so hope we get more Dimension Jumps now that all the legal stuff's sorted. Now that they're making, or hopefully going to be making episodes pretty soon, hopefully. I'm hoping we get a Dimension Jump, if not this year, at least a year after. I mean, we had, Holly Hop, the online version, a few years ago, but it's time for more dimension jumps, surely. So we've got Hattie. This is all upside down for me, so I'm really struggling. Hattie a couple of times. Grant Naylor. I can't see if these are... Guys, I can't see who that's car. It's upside down for me. I can't see who it is. Sorry, you guys. Reflections of cats. We've got sort of cat talking as if it's like an interview. That's kind of cool. Survey results from part 1. So there was that survey that they were asking people to do a few magazines back. We get the results, so that's really cool to look forward to. Back to reality, 30%. I'm guessing that means it's people's favourite episode with Quarantine 2nd, Demons and Angel 3rd, The Inquisitor 4th, Terraform 5th, and Holoship 6th. That's really cool, because Back to Reality has always been the top episode on every poll, just about that Ganymede and... I think every poll that Ganymede and Titan have ever done. Back to Reality is always the top episode, and it was back in 1992. The other episodes of the other top 10 have changed around quite a few times, especially as more episodes have been made. But for have Back to Reality at the first, oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Lister's cooking page, very dark. Goodness me, it looks like it's been misprinted. It's so dark. I mean, I can read it, but you guys probably can't see that on camera. Really dark. Androids by Kylie Gwenlyn. So we start to get Android stories. Androids. We start to get Android stories, which is really, really fun to see. Moving through, we get the adventures of Mr. Flibble going on. Absolutely bonkers stuff in here. I am trying to rush through. An interview with Peter Ragnow. So we're getting the guy who does all the amazing models and stuff. Brilliant back to behind the scenes stuff. Know the game of zero-G football. Absolutely brilliant. So we're starting to get like into the deep lore of Red Dwarf and the kind of stuff that fans might talk about, but we've never heard it sort of spelt out exactly how zero-G football works, which is bizarre because immediately we go into an Ace Rimmer story, which is playing normal football. It's just kind of bizarre. Yeah, I guess it's to keep us grounded that we're coming from a space story. But we're into a story where Ace Rimmer, I think he finds... I've not read it myself, but I've flicked through it before. I think it's a reality where there's a Rimmer that's a football player, but Ace Rimmer takes over because the other guy can't do it for some reason. Something like that. Cool story. More stuff with the cat, like a cat bio. So his skills, hobbies, musical tastes, role models. Kind of a bio of the cat. And another androids here. And then we're into the holograms again. And dang, we've got an advert, not a next episode or next issue. We've got an advert for Judge Dredd. And a massive curry monster picture, which looks absolutely gross. That is, it's a foul costume. We'll move that one. Finally, we're on to number 9, which has a free poster, apparently. We will soon see. But we do get some original artwork again, so that is great to have. Whatever happened to Dwayne Dibley? Well, let's find out inside. Flashback featuring the cat crossed out Dwayne Dibley. So we've got a Dwayne Dibley story. That's really cool to have. Oh, and adverts for now. We've got like a fantasy novel being advertised in here. That's kind of cool to see. So we've got a cat story. It's all very pink and purple, which I think suits the cat down to the ground. I don't know this story. I haven't actually flicked through this one, so that's really cool. It looks like a complete story because we've got the end just there. So that's cool to have. I am rushing through Red Dwarf USA. So I suppose instead of an interview, we've got another thing about Red Dwarf USA. This would be the second pilot where they had they brought in a version of the cat. Really cool to see. That's interesting. Arnold J. Rimmer, more life, more diaries. So we've got diary entries as if they're written by Arnold J. Rimmer. News from the Dwarf. What was going on at the time? The omnibus coming out. I've got a copy of that somewhere. Can't lay my hands on it. Oh, it's buried. I'm going to knock out cables if I get it. But the omnibus coming out. There you go. Omnibus edition coming out shortly. Or already out. I'm not quite sure at this point. Yeah, really cool to see. Moving on. So, diary entries for Arnold Rimmer with, what on earth, a super Robocop ripoff. But it looks good. Moving on through. Have you got what it takes? Amiga home computers advert. from Commodore. That is so cool. I so want one. I so want one. I did that whole parody thing when I did a breakdown of one of the episodes recently. That's so cool. I love that advert. No. Oh, no. The poster's in here. Oh, the poster's still in here. Oh, I can't believe that. 21 years or whatever, 31 years, and it's still got the glossy poster in the middle. Oh, that's mega, guys. Look at that. Glossy poster from Back to Reality, the many people's best episode ever. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, it's sacrilege, but I care not. I care not for sacrilege. I'm having the poster. Sorry, guys, if this is making you wince, you're going to have to just close your eyes for a second, but I have to have it. That is too cool to leave in there. Oh, I think I'm going to have to do this later. Oh, no, we're getting there. I'm doing it without ripping things. See, I'm being careful. I actually wonder if somebody's done this already. I'm not sure, because that staple looks slightly broken. You probably can't see it, but I have to see it. We have to see the poster. I spent 50 quid to get this. It can't just stay in there where no one can see it. That's like the sad acts who buy toys and leave them in the boxes. It's sad. My judgmentalism is coming out tonight. We got it, and I haven't damaged anything. Okay, there we go. Now just fold those down so I don't stab myself in a minute. That one. Get down without stabbing me. Okay, I think we'll switch cameras to show this because I'm kind of pumped about it, and hope we haven't lost audio. But here we go, guys. Back to Reality poster from 1992, issue 9 of the Smegazines. Can't believe it was still in there. That is awesome. Okay, the picture's bizarre. I mean, Rimmer looks really strange, actually. So does the cat slightly. But you know what? I care not. I care not. That is too cool. Oops. Just spilt my drink, but it doesn't matter. That looks so cool, guys. Got to put this up somewhere and let it be part of the set. That is so cool. Can't believe it. Can't believe it was in there. Oh, not double-sided, unfortunately, but still an absolutely brilliant, what's that, A4, A3, A2 poster. Pumped. So cool. Okay, it was worth the 50 quid. Kind of. Let's finish this magazine really, really quickly, although I don't think we're going to really top that. Ooh. There we go. So we've got Jupiter Mining Core, the application form for Dave Lister with all the jokes in, which I think I have seen this before. This particular bit seems familiar because it's got jokes from the books, because in the books he jokes that it's like, why do you want to join the Space Corps? Because I want to seek out new life and new civilizations and boldly go where no one's gone before. So he's nicked the line from Star Trek, which is, I think, in here somewhere. I'm sure they pulled that joke from the book. Haven't they? Oh, don't disappoint me. I'm sure they put that joke in somewhere. Okay, I might have made that up. But it's still got loads of cool stuff, and it's filled in like it's Dave Lister. Interview with Norman Lovett. Brilliant. Probably the first time anyone's seen, the man has shoulders. Probably the first time a lot of fans ever saw that. Another androids, so that's cool to see. Rimmer Thing, another one of these. So another one of these sort of bios of the character. So hobbies, associates, known aliases, cool stuff in there. And then we get another one-off story in living memory. So we haven't had any story from the actual TV shows in here. In living memory, which is a story, I think it's cat people. It's supposed to be like, or cat world, and something happens to the cat's memories while they're in there. This seems familiar. I think I must have flicked through this online through the PDFs. More Red Dwarf USA information. So we've had Red Dwarf USA stuff in 3 different magazines. So I think it was really being pushed, and they were really hoping that it was going to take off, it looks like. This is looking like something they were quite serious about having happen. And then Norman on the back. Absolutely amazing, though. I mean, let's be honest, most of that magazine has paled into insignificance after having found the poster. Let's have a look at some comments, and then we're going to wrap up the stream because I'm 10.5 minutes over already. The Inquisitor. Of course it was the Inquisitor, monster I blanked on. Only 31 years ago. Time flies, doesn't it just? 1992. I had I still cry about it now occasionally. I was talking to I was at my brother's my brother's birthday sort of barbecue thing the other day, and we were talking about you know, I love 90s stuff, as we can see, and I did used to have an MR2, a little sports car from the 90s from 1992, and I so wish I still had it. I flogged it for like 250 quid because it needed a clutch, and I can't buy one for under £5 now. Anyway, I'm not bitter about that much. So I used to have a little cool sports car from 1992, and but the reason I'm mentioning that is because it was old enough to be classified under classic car insurance. So I was like in my mid-20s, I was about 25 with a sports car, with like a quite fast car, but I could afford it for the insurance because it was on classic car insurance. I have so tangents there. But anyway, 1992, old enough to get classic car insurance, which puts things into perspective for the age. I think a car has to be 25. Anyway, which is weird because 25 years ago, that's only 1998. That's pretty modern cars in my mind. What about... Let's just move on. What about Brooke Jr.? I'm sure Brooke Jr. is probably in one of those Android stories. I'm sure I will find him in there. He's not your Android. Of course not. Classic. Occupation for the cat. Lol. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading those bios. I think they could be useful because I keep meaning to do... I've done a bio on the channel for Lister and for Crichton. And I did one for Rob Grant recently. But I want to do the rest of the cast, rest of the characters, so they might be quite useful for me. Just basically read those on a video. That would be really helpful. So boxes are easy to stack and dust. Lol. I'm not sure what I missed there. Not sure. W8 man saying it's double-sided? Question mark. No, the poster wasn't double-sided, but it is still nice. That is awesome. Yeah, I love that the poster is in there. That is just what a find. Keeping that. Don't know what to do with it though, because I haven't really got the space to hang it permanently anywhere. So, and I don't want to ruin it. I'll have to think that one through so it doesn't get wrecked. We'll have to think on that one. Maybe just very, very carefully get it out for a live stream and have somewhere to pin it. I think that's going to be the best idea. Oh damn, not double-sided, just massive. Love it. Frame it. I'm so short on space though. This is the problem. If only they did more merchandise. I know, I want more merch. Desperate for it. In the interview Rob Grant did a few weeks ago with Ganymede and Titan, even he mentioned that he wants more merch. Said he wanted like a beanie hat, like a Red Dwarf beanie hat. He really fancied one. So yeah, I think more merch has got to be on the cards, surely. If only they did more merchandise. Those fathead pop characters in boxes from all genres. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, probably makes more sense for how you can lay things out. Guys... I just, what can I say? If nothing else from this stream today comes out, it's the poster. The poster has sort of stolen things from me. Oh, there's even details on the side of it. What's that? Copyright Rob Grant and Doug Naylor, 1992. Presented free with Red Dwarf's magazine. So, literally, it sounds like the only way you could get this poster is through the magazines. That's really cool. Weird that it says copyright Rob Grant and Doug Naylor. So it's not saying copyright Grant Naylor. I can't remember when Grant Naylor was actually fully established as a company. Must have been after this, or shortly after this. Because I know they went under the duo name of Grant Naylor, but I guess as a company, actually, it must have been a little bit later, and that's why it's not saying Grant Naylor. Anyway, super cool poster. Yeah, I'm going to have to frame it, as you say. Maybe if I can get a really lightweight frame that can be, you know, somewhere out of the way, and then when I need it to be in shot, I'll just carefully bring the frame over. That sounds like the best idea. Oh, look at it under the green light. Oh, with the green light on it, that's even cooler. Okay, yep, I'm pumped. I can't beat the poster. Guys, thank you. Hang on, don't tear it now, Daniel. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. It's been a really fun stream, doing something very, very different. Never done an unboxing on camera before. I hope you guys have enjoyed this slightly bizarre one. It's been a lot of me talking and me not even on camera. Sorry about the audio hitch at the beginning, but I think we got through it. Guys, thank you so much for popping along. I'll read the last of the comments and then we will call it a night because I'm a quarter of an hour over where I should be. Funky Pop, someone did some custom Lego brick heads of the crew. Yeah, there is some cool Lego art out there. And I'm going to be chatting, hopefully, to Tunes tomorrow night. Not as an interview, but I'm just sort of chatting to him about YouTube and stuff. So hopefully we can get something going with Tunes at some point, because he does awesome Lego stuff. I'd buy Red Dwarf pop characters. Grant Naylor was mentioned elsewhere in the mag, I think. Yeah, they get mentioned as a duo, but the company, Grant Naylor, making the shows, I think the company came later than 1992, and that's why it doesn't say it on there. I think. Don't quote me on that. Not sure that giant bug is... what that giant is bug, though. Doesn't look like a despair squid. I don't know. It's got a thing. It's got... Yeah. Maybe it's got a... I don't know. I think I have seen behind the scenes stuff of the models that they used for the despair squid, and it looks like that with the big funny eyes and stuff. But it doesn't look like a squid. That looks more like a, I don't know, crab or something. Thanks for the show. Nice one, Dan. See you soon. I see. The ambivalent squid, lol. Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. But I suppose once you're in a dream, it can be absolutely anything it wants to be. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. I've lost my voice. I spilt a load of water, and somehow I haven't fried the electric, so we're all good. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. Hopefully gonna get that video with the green screening and me trying to be in Back to Earth. Hopefully going to get that out in next week, but it might slip. I might try and see if I can do a simpler, quicker video in the meantime. But guys, thank you so much for coming along. Don't be surprised if you see the magazines on the on videos very soon. I think I'm going to do individual videos for each magazine and go through each individual magazine and look at what's in there. So look out for those videos. Guys, thank you so much for coming along, and I'll see you next time, Smegheads. If I can push the button to end the stream. End!